So what's going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel where we have just had a ton of brand new information from Treyarch to do with Vanguard Zombies, which releases in just a few days from now. So we've got information on gameplay, Dorky Fit Entities and artifacts, narrative voices, brand new upgrades, different builds, perks or weapons, the Pack-a-Punch, along with the main Easter egg and a ton of other stuff as well. So we're going to be going through all of the latest information to do with the game in today's video. So Treyarch have gone ahead and released a brand new blog. As always, if you want to check this out for yourself, I will leave the link to it down in the description. It is all about Vanguard Zombies, but they start off by talking about what we should expect, where they say Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies arrives this Friday, and we're kicking off launch week with the details you need to prepare for the next chapter of the Dorky Fit story on November the 5th. During last month's Vanguard Zombies first look, the team at Treyarch introduced an all-new objective-driven zombies experience in Dirt and Fang, spanning 4 locations at launch: Stalingrad, Merville, Paris and Shinonuma. We debuted the official gameplay reveal trailer to the world, introduced all new characters at the Call of Duty blog, and showcased the Dorky Fit powers that you wield in-game. And later this week, we'll unveil the Dirt and Fang intro cinematic to shed even more light on the narrative journey that lies ahead. That's pretty interesting because I thought the trailer that we had the other day would have been the intro cinematic. I thought that probably was it because the first half of the trailer at least looks like it could be, but apparently not, so I'm interested to see what that's going to look like. But they finish off this segment by saying, in our recent Zombies team Q&A, we mentioned plenty of returning elements that long-time fans know and love, including the mystery box, Pack-a-Punch, perks, the monkey bomb, and more, as well as the return of the crafting table, custom loadouts, armour, and exfil systems from Black Ops Cold War. But we're also delivering an entirely fresh take on Zombies and Vanguard, and there's a mountain of new gameplay systems to dive into. Let's get started. So we'll begin with the Dorky Fit Entities and artifacts that we've all heard of. At the Treyarch blog, we introduced a sinister new antagonist coming into Vanguard Zombies, Wolf from Von List. Through the power of Dorky Fit magic, he has formed a bond with Cortex the Deathless, a former Dorky Fit lord with the power to raise the dead, threatening to turn the tide of the Second World War. Thankfully, you'll have the opportunity to call upon the artifacts of 4 rival Dorky Fit entities to aid in the fight against Cortex and the Third Reich. These entities are known as Sarasix the Shadow, Bellicar the Warlock, Invicta the Destroyer, and Nauticus the Conqueror. At launch, they will provide players with the following artifacts and abilities. So Dragon of Syraxis spawns an ethereal explosive, dealing massive damage to enemies who set it off. The Mask of Bellicar cloaks you in the Dark Ether, masking your presence from enemies for 5 seconds. The Sword of Invicta, that sparks a ring of ethereal flame to boost damage for anyone within its radius for 15 seconds. And the Horn of Nauticus summons a frigid vortex, damaging enemies with the initial blast and slowing down those that enter. So all of these, as far as I'm aware, were abilities in Black Ops Cold War. They've just been renamed. So the Horn of Nauticus was the Frost Blast, Sword of Invicta is Ring of Fire, the Mask of Bellicar is Ether Shroud, and the Dragon of Syraxis, that sounds like it's the Energy Minefield upgrade. I'd be interested to know how come we only have 4 since there were 7 field upgrades in Black Ops Cold War, but what I do like about this is they now have personality. Instead of these just being normal field upgrades, these are now powers that are linked to Lords of the Dark Ether. But talking a little bit more about these, as I just mentioned, we have new narrative voices, and Treyarch tell us, in addition to their gameplay benefits, these Dark Ether entities will serve you as in-game characters in their own right. While the narrative will primarily be driven by the voices of Demonologist Gabriel Kraft, Oberfuhrer Von List, and Cortex the Deathless, the other Dark Ether entities will provide their own unique gallows humour and commentary throughout the game. Similarly, players can expect the operatives the entities are bonded with to be a bit more, shall we say, expressive in their opinions compared to the more seriously mil-spec tone of the operators that we saw in Black Ops Cold War. Although the setting of Vanguard Zombies may be brutal and disturbing, let's face it, we're all here to have some fun. So this is pretty much Treyarch's way of fixing the boring operators that we had in Black Ops Cold War. For so long we've all been used to a set cast, whether it be World at War, Black Ops 1, 2, 3 and 4. We've had the Ultimus crew, Victus, the transit characters, the Mob of the Dead cast, the cast that we saw in Shadows of Evil. All very unique, interesting characters that add to the storyline, they are fun. And then all of a sudden, in Black Ops Cold War, we were given these boring, dry, lifeless, soulless operators that had no personality. They didn't add to the storyline. Everything they said wasn't storyline related or interesting. Now, of course, because Activision makes so much money off operators, that's not something we're gonna see disappear for a very long time. Whether we like it or not, or whether Treyarch like it or not, I feel like Activision are forcing them to put operators in zombies now, which means we can't have a set cast anymore. But in order to try and fix the problem of us having boring, lifeless operators, what they've now done is given the field upgrades, or the artifacts, personalities. As I said, all 4 of these different powers, the Dragon of Syraxis, the Mask of Bellicar, the Sword of Invicta, or the Horn of Nauticus, they are all linked to these Dark Ether Lords. And as we're playing the game, I'm assuming whether we use these field upgrades or not, we're going to be having these Dark Ether entities that they are linked to talking to us. It is these 4 entities that we are linked to that will be talking to us throughout the game. And also, as Tryout mentioned, it's not just going to be serious, they will be funny as well. They'll each have their own personality. Pretty much these are set cast within zombies, they're just not playable. I'm wondering then, if you've got 4 players, will these entities be talking to one another, having conversations similar to how set casts would have done? I don't know, but I think Tryout have realised that the community wasn't really too happy with operators. They've noticed that and they've tried their best to find a workaround for this. Moving on though, talking about something which is new, the Altar of Covenants. Tryout say, in addition to an ever-changing gameplay space and increasingly difficult objectives, the Altar of Covenants is one of our biggest innovations in zombies to date. Covenants offer powerful new abilities to equip as you progress through the match, provided in exchange for the new sacrificial heart loot item earned by completing objectives. So you'll get access to 11 new Covenants at launch, each with multiple rarities for a total of 30 upgrades to explore, and the initial set of Covenants include Bloodlust, which makes melee attacks do more damage and heal you, Resurrectionist, which revives allies faster, Brain Rot, that gives you a chance to turn enemies to your side, Cryo Freeze, where you have a chance to slow down enemies, Death Blow, critical kills return bullets to the clip, Ammo Gremlin, stowed weapons refill ammo from stock automatically, Dead Accurate, consecutive hits on the same enemy do more damage, Splatterfest, enemies killed by explosives may explode, Unholy Ground, deal more damage while stationary, Colder Week, deal more damage to slowed or stunned enemies, and finally Motherload, which gives you the chance to equip equipment after using it. You can have up to 3 Covenants at a time, and the selection of available Covenants randomizes after each objective completed, so you'll always have new specialists to choose from. Alternate ammo tats from previous games have also been incorporated into Covenants for the best of both worlds, including favourites such as Brain Rot and Cryo Freeze. So that kind of clears up what the new Covenant system is. From what I can gather, there will be sacrificial heart loot items that you can collect whilst doing objectives in game, and then you can use these in exchange at the Altar of Covenants to get upgrades such as I just mentioned, Cryo Freeze, Death Blow, Dead Accurate, and you can have 3 of these in game at once. And also every time you complete an objective, the list of Covenants that you can choose will randomize. So I like that. That's going to add a whole different way of playing, especially because they're randomized. You don't get access to all upgrades at once. It looks like there's 3 you can choose from at a time, and then every time you complete an objective, we'll get a new set of 3 that we can choose from. Continuing on with the gameplay side of things, they've got a section on this blog called Find Your Perfect Build, where they say by experimenting with different combinations of Covenants, artifacts, perks, and weapons in each run, you'll create powerful new builds and discover personal strategies to help you survive further into the next match. You might find certain offense-based combos may suit your needs in solo matches, while other support-driven builds might work better with a full squad. The true strength of Covenants lies in their upgrade rarities. However, for example, while the rare version of Call of the Week deals 50% damage to slowed or stunned enemies, the legendary version can deal a whopping 100% base damage in addition to a 100% critical damage. Combine that with your Cryo Freeze and Dead Accurate, and you'll be shredding through the zombies in no time, as long as you can hit your targets and stay alive. So there we go. There will also be rarities to the Covenants as well. Obviously, the higher up in rarity you go, the more effective it's going to be. Moving on though to a new selection of upgradable perks. As you complete more objectives and unlock new areas for your forward operating base in Stalingrad, you'll gain access to perk fountains containing brand new upgradable abilities. This perk system is entirely different from previous games, with all new theming to match the occult setting of Vanguard zombies, offering a streamlined approach on the surface with deeper gameplay potential as you get further into the match. These are the 5 perk fountains that will be available in Durham Fact. So we have Fiendish Fortitude, which increases health, Diabolical Damage, which increases critical damage, Venomous Vigor, which boosts health regeneration speed, Demonic Frenzy, that boosts reload speed, and Ethereal Haste, which boosts movement speed. So you can tell what these perks are, they've just been renamed, as you'd expect, because storyline wise, we don't actually get perks such as Juggernog, Speed Cola and stuff like that in Black Ops Cold War until later on. And since this game is a prequel, it wouldn't make sense for us to have those perks, so they would have had to rename them, but essentially they're the same as what we've seen before. So Fiendish Fortitude is of course Juggernog, Diabolical Damage sounds like it could be Deadshot, I forgot the name of it for some reason. Venomous Vigor is Quick Revive, Demonic Frenzy is Speed Reload, and then Ethereal Haste, that's Stamina Up. For the first time in zombies, The base tier of each perk will be free once you've unlocked access to it, and you'll be able to upgrade each perk up to tier 4 in game. This is a shift from the out of game skill tier system in Black Ops Cold War, offering new ways to invest in your perks in real time as you play. Perks will offer powerful base stat upgrades at each tier, but they won't come cheap. Once you've activated the free tier 1 version of a perk, you'll need to pay 2,500 essence for tier 2, then 5,000 for tier 3, and 7,500 for tier 4. Each upgrade will increase a specific stat, with the higher tiers providing bigger enhancements. For example, Fiendish Fortitude or Juggernog provides plus 25 health at tier 1 and goes all the way to plus 100 at tier 4 for a massive boost in survivability. In another Zombies First, you'll keep the base level perk you've acquired so far if you're downed, since the first tier is free, but beware, you'll also lose one tier from each of your perks, which can be devastating in high rounds. Remember, upgrading from tier 3 to 4 costs far more than going from tier 1 to 2, so you'll need to stack your upgrades carefully to avoid bankrupting your essence after you go down. Choose wisely. So this is very interesting. There are a lot of changes here to the perks and the mechanics and how they work. First off, from the sounds of it, no longer can we upgrade our perks in the main menu. Instead, we upgrade them in-game as we're playing, which I really like the sound of. The thing is, with Black Ops Cold War, if you play the game an awful lot and you manage to get all of the different crystal types, and once you'd upgraded your perks, well, you were stuck until Treyarch introduced a new one, or they added more tiers. Well, now from the sounds of it, since we can do this in-game, they don't stick, so if we end a game, every time you go in you have to upgrade your perk tiers again. That's at least from what I get, maybe I'm wrong on that. But also, every perk will be free, so the tier 1 version of Juggernog, Quick Revive, Speed Cola, when you purchase any perk in Vanguard initially, it's going to be free. But if you want to upgrade it to tier 2, 3, or 4, that's when you'll have to pay, so you can get plus 25% armor from Juggernog by purchasing it for free. However, if you want to get plus 100, which I believe what Juggernog is normally, you'll have to upgrade it to tier 4, which is going to cost you 7,500. But of course, that's after you pay 5,000 for tier 3 and 2,500 for tier 2. So it's going to cost you a total of 15,000 to get tier 4 Juggernog, which will give you plus 100 health. And also in this Zombies, because perks are now free, whenever you go down, you will keep the tier 1 of that perk, which also makes sense because if we did lose them, yes, it would make it a little bit more difficult, but the perks are free anyway, so we wouldn't have to worry about spending points or not having enough to buy them again. So yeah, a lot of changes to the perk system there. Now moving on to weapons, upgrades and tiers. With the addition of Covenants and other new gameplay elements to the mix, we've streamlined weapon acquisition and upgrades while keeping the Pack-a-Punch as crucial as ever. This time around, you'll need to loot chests, spin the mystery box and watch for drops from powerful enemies at higher rounds to get your hands on additional weaponry in lieu of old school war buys. You will manually upgrade your weapons at the Pack-a-Punch machine once you've saved up enough essence as usual, though the costs now start at 7,500 essence for your first pack, then 15,000 for level 2 and 30,000 for level 3. Weapon tiers are now defined by their Pack-a-Punch level, denoted by 4 colours. White equals unpack-a-punched, blue is for Pack-a-Punch 1, purple for Pack 2, and orange for Pack-a-Punch level 3. Also, new Vanguard Zombies pre-pack weapons can now drop from I don't know what that word is, or be awarded from the mystery box, so it pays to keep your eye out for the next upgrade in the field. You're definitely going to need it as the rounds keep going up. So the major change here to the Pack-a-Punch system is the price. Instead of costing 5,000 for your first Pack-a-Punch, it's now 7,500, but level 2 pack and level 3 are the same price, being 15 and 30k, and Pack-a-Punch levels are now defined by colours, so white is unpack-a-punched, and then as I've just mentioned, we also have blue, purple and orange for level 1, 2 and 3. And of course, since there are no wall buys in Vanguard Zombies, this time around we'll have to loot chests, spin mystery boxes, or get drops from enemies in order to get our hands on guns, because there's no longer weapons on the wall. But I don't really think that's a problem anymore because everyone uses their own loadout. So wall weapons, even before this in Black Ops Cold War, were almost invalid. They were pointless. Next up, a new experience with every match. And another twist on the Zombies formula, the gameplay space will now change throughout the match as Cortifex's Dark Ether barrier shrinks and expands. This means no two games should feel the same as you take on shifting variations of the core objectives at launch. Blitz, Transmit and Harvest. One minute you may find yourself fighting for your life in a single corridor of Shinonuma, and the next you could have access to both floors of the main hut. As the rounds continue, keep an eye on the barrier markers to designate the player area for each new objective and make sure you don't get yourself cornered. And that's just the start. And finally, there is a little bit of talk about Easter eggs and the main quest. As always, launch is just the beginning. Starting on December the 2nd, new zombies content and features will begin to roll out in Vanguard, including a new objective, additional covenants, new weapons, zombie season challenges, holiday themed updates and more. Players will also encounter some other surprise elements later in Season 1 that will set the stage for our upcoming main quest. The main quest will be tied to the arrival of an unexpected ally after Season 1, which will further expand the narrative of the Dorky Fit and reveal more details about the characters and entities that players will have encountered thus far. They just then say check out the Call of Duty blog for more details on what we can expect during pre-season and in Season 1, and as for post-launch content, the team will also add new artifacts as additional Dorky Fit entities during the fight against their ancient enemy Cortifex. So that's good, but the main thing I want to point out in here is that they say players will encounter other surprise elements later in Season 1 that will set the stage for our upcoming main quest. The main quest will be tied to the arrival of an unexpected ally after Season 1, so the way they word that almost makes it sound like on day 1 when Duran Fang releases, there won't be a main quest in Vanguard Zombies, and that won't be coming even at Season 1, but maybe sometime throughout it. So from what I can see, Season 1 starts on December the 2nd, which means the main quest for Duran Fang may come a little bit after that, so probably Christmas time we can expect the first main Easter egg in Vanguard Zombies. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. But there we go, that is all of the information we have about Vanguard Zombies, and the game releases in just a few days, so I'd expect this is all we're going to get until the release. That is a ton of information. Let me know your thoughts about it down in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.